Welcome to the inaugural episode of Schuck on a Truck. I'm Muddy River Sports Editor Matt Schuckman, and we're going to be coming to you each week with a video interview from the tailgate of my pickup truck. And there's no one better to be on the first guest than Quincy Notre Dame Athletic Director Bill Connell, because the idea for Schuck on a Truck was born right here in the back parking lot at Quincy Notre Dame when Coach Connell was coaching football, and this was our post-practice routine, wasn't it?
Well, listen, I'm honored to be on here with you, show one. I'm going to tell you that I had a lot of great times in this parking lot on this tailgate.
That's right.
With the man, and, a lot of times I want to make sure, too, I'm giving credit because, again, I'm the one that called you the Schuck Daddy.
Oh, yeah, no question.
So, so other people can call you Schuck Daddy, but I'm the first person that called you the true Schuck Daddy.
That's right.
I'm honored to be on here with you, and I told you I want at least an hour exclusive.
Well, that's fine. We can go as long as you want because I know we got plenty to talk about. We can reminisce. We can talk about what's going on now. But thank you for doing this. This is fun. This is where it began. And your players got used to that. Your players would know and come and sit down on the tailgate with me after practice.
Well, it was an honor because they knew if they made a good play on Friday night, they got to go to Schuck Daddy's tailgate the next Thursday afternoon.
That's right.
It was a challenge on, who's going to make the play or who's going to make the tackle, who's going to make the catch. Again, going back to old Brunsey, thank goodness he made that catch.
Woo,
you know what I'm saying?
For
that game, it was let's get. Who is it? Is it going to be Ian Hincamper that goes in and gets the ball?
Yep.
Is it going to be old Kramer Barnes that throws the ball, or is it going to be Brunsey that catches the ball? So those are the fun games that you go back and you live. But there was a lot of challenges that week on who wanted to be on there with you.
Well, it was fun, and that game you bring up was the season opener against Hannibal right here. And what I remember, another part of that game, that atmosphere that night, is I had 102-degree fever and was told not to come cover the game, and I showed up anyway.
Well, and that was before COVID, so
you
were only worried about the flu at that point, so 102 was no big deal. There were no rules or regulations. You just came on out and enjoyed it.
Nobody was going to keep me away.
Well, you're the same way with Michael Jordan. He played the playoff game, and can you imagine if you'd have missed that game? You've seen some big football games in QND history, but that one, and every time I've talked to Ian Hincamper a couple different times, he did not have that ball. I mean, it's been confirmed when he went in, ball, he didn't have the ball, but
he came out with it.
He came out, and that's all that matters.
That's there's been so many great memories here on this field, the road trips together covering these games. What, from your career, and I'm not asking for a single moment, but what made your career special?
Well, I just had so many great players and that played extremely hard and great coaches, and we were able to keep the coaches. And that's the thing people always want to say, like, how did you put together such a run? And a lot of it was the assistant coaches, because they had the same running back coach, or they had the same defensive line coach, or they had the same defensive coordinator. It was the same folks that every year it was a challenge for them too to keep this thing rolling. But bottom line is, if you don't have, if you can be the best coach in America, if you don't have great players, you're not going to win ball games. And it was a challenge every year for that group not to let the group down before.
And because of that, because your players understood the system, because you had the same coaches, you had that stability, made it fun for me too. Because I could be on the sideline with you guys, I could be up in the press box, I could be at practice. And there were things I knew you were going to do based on alignment, based on certain calls, that over the years, I just knew what was coming. Defenses probably didn't know. Hopefully they didn't know, right? But I knew because I'd been around the program. And that made it special for me and made it fun for me.
Well, again, it's, you think back whether it was 24 counter boot or whether it was the fish special.
Yep.
There were certain plays that were going to set up certain plays,
right.
and people would say, well, my mercy, don't they know it's coming? Well, they do, but if everybody blocks who they're supposed to block and everybody does their job, at the end of the day, the play would open up, and all of a sudden you would say, well, here it comes again.
Yeah.
and touchdown, and or
Yep.
big play by the defense. But I mean, you're right. I mean, the players knew you almost as if you were a coach. I mean,
Yeah.
you were so much part of the program that they also wanted to be able to take part in after the ball game or the Thursday night talk. And how many times did you sit out here and listen to, let's go back, way back, when Paz started making his predictions. And then, he got all the area media to join into his
Paz
predictions.
predictions.
And eventually, again, that led to
Yeah.
doerisms that we all know
That's
today
right.
that were out there for everybody to see, that I could then put in front of my players and say, listen, Hannibal's coming in here, and there's nobody picked you guys. You're 0 for 6. Everybody from every media source has got Hannibal, and what are you going to do about it tonight, guys?
How many times during all those years when the Herald Whig did the picks that ran in Thursday's paper, did maybe on Tuesday night you and I are having a post-practice conversation and you'd be like, you're going to pick against us, right? I need a little something this week. Pick against us. Come on.
Now listen, don't start giving up all my secrets. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely, because if I could get you're covering us.
Yeah.
So I can stand up and tell my players, listen, Schuckman don't believe in you. Schuckman don't think you got it in you tonight. Yeah, that's an incentive to go out and get somebody.
And I believe it was Adam Turstrip who came up to me after a game and said, look, we proved you wrong. And little did he know that
you were helping us.
Yeah. little did he know the reason I picked against you guys was because you and I had talked.
Let's hope Adam Tertium's not watching this out there from Payson as he's doing some farming in the tractor, and all of a sudden you're giving me up here.
But again, it was fun. It was so much fun. And it continues today. The program under Jack Cornell has been very good the last few years. Continues to be. I've been out here at practice several times. And look at his staff. Guys who played for you are on his staff. He played for you. So that continuity, that stability is still there.
Well, and that's what has fed this system for more than 30 years. The keeping the same coaches. So, like a Brady Ginnenbacher that ended up my career coaching, a Ben Morrison that ended up. So, again, players for me, coaches now for Jack, kind of ended my tenure, especially on that defensive side of the ball. And he's able to keep those guys. And, again, that's a key. I mean, if you look at any good system, you go to Sacred Heart Griffin, same way. I mean, you look at one of the assistants, he's been there for 35 years. Well, guess what? That's why they've had success.
Absolutely
because
right.
Kim Leonard's also been able to keep his guys. But you're right, Matt. I mean, we've had such great times, such great memories, so many great plays, so many great players. Back in the day, this high school would have had 2 local radio stations covering them, 2 local TV stations covering them, a local newspaper covering them, and you've been up in that press box in playoff games, and the same thing, like Breeze Modern Day, they roll in here and they've got the same thing, and we're playing for the opportunity to go to round 3. I mean, this was a major deal for little high school football in the middle of nowhere, little Catholic school. I mean, it's always been a great little Catholic school story in the Midwest that, I have given that story to so many different people. How in the world can you be afraid to play a school of 400? You're a school of 1,500.
Right.
We're just a little old Catholic school trying to barely make it, and we roll in there wherever we might be at and put it on them and, walk away and say, listen, we beat somebody today.
Let's see if I get it right. Every Tuesday or Wednesday when I'd be out here, it'd be, oh, Mr. Schuckman, I'm just hoping I got 22 boys that want to step on the field and play hard for me Friday night. That's the only thing I'm hoping for.
Well,
let alone you knew you had more than that and you were going to go out and kick a little butt. But you downplayed. You Lou Holtzed me at times.
Well, and that was the way that I learned.
Yeah.
And if I started back tomorrow, I would still be Lou Holtzing people because it's always easier to be better that somehow, somewhere down the line, to be better. So it's easier to start off not very good because if you start off real good and you're not there, that's not a good thing.
No, it's not.
So it's certainly easier to say you're not very good, and maybe you'll surprise some people.
Well, obviously we've talked a lot about football, but there's a lot of other good things going on here at Quincy Notre Dame. obviously getting ready to start the entire fall sports season. Soccer team has a fantastic run under Greg Reese. Could continue to do that this year. High expectations there. Volleyball program's in great shape. The golf program has pumped out a lot of good athletes. So just talking about fall sports, there's a ton of excitement here at Notre Dame just in general, isn't there?
Well, a ton of excitement. Yeah, I mean, we're happy to be back in school. We're happy to be in person. We're happy to know that outdoor sports right now can operate without masks. Inside, we're still operating with masks, and right now that's only volleyball, so that gives us, 6 other sports outside right now. You also, tennis-wise, we should be, as Teresa is going to be very talented there. In cross country, boys and girls, we're going to be very talented there.
Correct.
Got pom going, got cheer going, so very, very busy time, and blessed is we sit here on your tailgate. When I came in '92, what we're looking behind us was not here.
Right.
So to have a facility, to have the turf on the baseball field, again, you're not going to find a better softball field than what we have here. At QND with Coach Orange still out there hand grooming it. Somebody stopped by the other day and said, "Well, gosh, that looks awful nice." And I said, "Well, Eric mows it."
Yeah.
It's his.
He rakes it. He mows it.
He does.
I'm surprised we don't see him sleeping out here at times.
He's probably out there somewhere.
Yeah,
he's
I'm
probably
sure.
out here somewhere. And we even had Culver here for 7 or 8 practices this year because their field was getting redone, and ATG that put our field in is putting their field in, and so today's the first day they haven't been here.
Yeah.
So they've got their field rolling again. But we're happy to host them. So you always want to take care of your area schools because one day you might need something.
That's right.
And you want to have some place to go to.
Obviously, COVID is a huge topic that's gone on now for a long time. Is it refreshing to walk through the halls and know kids are in the classroom, that you see kids out on the football field, on the soccer field, on the tennis court, at the time of year they're supposed to be?
Well, we're happy that's going, and I'm especially happy to know outdoor sports we're not in mask. I mean, you cannot operate in a mask. I've debated this with people all along. Again, you cannot run up and down a football field and it be 9 degrees and be masked.
Right.
You can't walk 18 holes of golf and be masked. I mean, we can debate upon if some of the things can happen. But outside sports, it's impossible to do that and somebody not overheat. And it's one thing when it's 40 degrees outside, and it's one thing when it's 100. I mean, we're sitting here right now, and it's in the middle of the middle morning, and we both have sweat running off of us. So
the sun's on us. That's not unusual for me.
Well,
I'm a big guy. I sweat.
Yeah, and
it happens.
Me too. I'd rather be outside than in.
Well, I know you've got other things on your mind beyond Quincy Notre Dame, beyond our conversations. Your son playing sports at Quincy University. I know they've got their football season coming up. I know he's been battling some injuries. Mom's still down in Florida. Life good?
Life's good. Jack Jackson, yes, will miss this season.
Right.
And, he tore his pec on April the 3rd, so he'll start rehab on August 25th. So it's tough.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll be honest, he's frustrated. Wishes he could be out there with Coach Bass and the Hawks. So he is a big part of the program right now, but just not on the field as a player.
Right.
And we'll see what next year brings. Hopefully it'll get here fast. And mom's doing well down in Florida. My sister's doing well. She won a state championship last year in girls basketball, and she'll have a lot of talent coming back. And so we're blessed. Wife and I, we just put an addition to the family, and so we just got another dog.
Yep.
So we got.
I knew where you were going with that. I didn't want people to think that there was a baby Connell on the way.
Yeah, no baby Connell.
It's pup Connell.
But pup Connell, and his name is Chevy.
Okay.
So we've got Mocha that's 14 and a half. Vinny that's 4 and a half, and Chevy that's about 9 weeks old. So
very nice.
If you wonder what I'm doing at 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm sitting around with Chevy because he's not capable of being out of his cage unless he has some supervision.
I understand.
But
been there.
But Mama Jamie, she does most of it, so I'm not going to sit here and take the credit. So she's the dog handler and the dog trainer.
We can't leave out Shelby.
We can't leave out
She'd
Shelby.
be really mad at us if we left her out.
She just started her first full-time job at Prince. So she is 5 weeks into it. And she has her first big-time job, and we're
Good.
happy that she's in Quincy, and
Yep.
we're happy she's got her first job, and we're happy she's slowly but surely coming off the Connell payroll.
Now, I know we're sitting here and it's sunny out and it's a little warm. We both got beads of sweat on our foreheads. But you feel it getting closer to that time of year where we put on a little bit of camo, go to the woods, spend some time looking for deer. Do you feel it coming?
I feel it coming, and we've got our 3 food plots done. So Jackson was down and out, so he gave me directions, so that's I was under his umbrella for probably about 30 hours.
Oh, wow.
Of doing different things to get everything just right in his eyes.
Uh-huh.
And so, back to Shelby. Now, if you ever want to, again, a great trivia question, one day that I missed practice, one day in my 26 years, and the only day in my 26 years of coaching that I missed practice was September 8, 1997, and that was the day she arrived.
Right.
So that's the only day. People would always say, blah, blah, blah. Well, that's the only day.
Yep.
In my 26 years that I missed a practice, and so that's a great trivia question.
Well, and we may have another one coming up where a coach has to miss a practice for a certain.
Well,
who
knows?
We'll see. We'll see here in the next month or so.
Who knows? Maybe Junior will arrive on September the 8th. We'll see.
Maybe you never know.
Crazy things happen at crazy times.
We'll see. All I know is that Mrs. Coach Cornell.
Yes. Cornell.
Yes.
Yes.
Make sure the R's in there so people know, because people do get it confused at times. But Mrs. Coach Cornell, Lauren, all she told me is she hopes it's not on a Friday night.
And we all hope it's not
Exactly.
on a Friday night. And
Yeah.
what you just said. I mean, that it's a crazy thing, because there's a lot of folks that still haven't figured this out. That Jack is not my son. That Jack's name is spelled different than mine.
Correct.
Mine's spelled different than his, but that one letter, and the fact that I have a Jackson, he's Jack, he graduated from here. There's just a lot that gets the best of a lot of places.
It happens.
Yeah, we between Jack and I, we have this conversation weekly with somebody that you're pretty close. Not quite there, but we'll help you get there.
There you go.
So,
Bill, thank you so much for doing this. Love chatting as always. Nowhere better than on the tailgate of the pickup.
Well, I'm honored to be here the first time, and I appreciate you letting me be here the first time. I would have
one better.
I would have been frustrated if I
Come
wasn't here.
Come on. Before I called and asked you to do this, you had to know. You had to know.
Listen, I had a pretty good idea, but I wasn't by myself in there. I wanted the invite. And let's be honest, first time we've ever, normally we're out here working off a tripod. Bob Goff, first time. First time we have had a photographer.
That's right. So
I don't know if that's better than a videographer, but a photographer. Well, that sounds a little bit better.
It was I don't know how many different takes. The last time we tried to do it on video, we'd start and stop, and we'd have to do a lot of editing.
This time we don't.
We don't. We did it good.
And listen, and if it doesn't work, we got one person to blame.
That's right.
And that's not Matt. That's not the Schuck Daddy.
No, that's right. Coach.
Good luck to you, baby.
Thank you so much. This was a blast.
Great to see you.